So I was going through YouTube the other day, and I was looking at these experts that give you tips on how to increase your subscriber count. Because right now I'm close to 67,000 subscribers, which blows my mind. I still can't believe that. But I want to keep it going. And a lot of these guys are telling you that you should do like a top 10 list of whatever. You know, like those are hot. Those are big. And I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I could do a top 10 list of women I used to yank it to in the 80s when I was a teenager, but people really want to see that. Not one of them said anything about poop stories, which got me to the count I'm at now. So I thought I'd put together a list of things about Disneyland that you may not be aware of. Things you could do at the park that you don't know about, and just some factual stuff. So this goes back to when I was working at THQ. It's a video game company. I worked on almost all the WWE stuff. A lot of the Nickelodeon stuff. I remember we were working on SmackDown, Just Bring It. And we were working on that game non-stop for months. No days off. None. Typical day working on that game. I'd start between 8 and 9 in the morning and go until midnight or a little bit after. Every single day. Every day. They had showers put in for us. And they had like this common area, like living room type place. I ended up sleeping on the couch. I lived there. I had an apartment. I got rid of it because I never saw it. I put my stuff in storage and I lived at work. I would shower in the mornings, get dressed, and go to my cubicle and work. And I crashed on the couch every night. Saved a lot of money, made a lot of money, but worked my ass off. I remember one night we were working really hard, and my friend Byron, he looked like The Walking Dead months into this game. That we had to get it out by Christmas. That was the milestone that we had to achieve there, because it's a hot title. And it's after midnight. Byron stops by and he said, "All right, Jay, I'm going to head home and try and get some sleep." I'm like, "All right, dude, I'll see you in the morning." He called me 35 minutes later in a panic. He's like, Jay. I'm like, "Dude, what's going on? Are you all right?" I thought he got in a wreck or something. He said, I think I'm dead. I'm like, "What do you mean you think you're dead? What happened?" He said, "I remember talking to you. I remember walking out to the parking lot. I don't remember anything since, and I'm in my living room right now. I don't know how I got here." And so he had like no recollection of driving home. He was just on autopilot. And it panicked him. It freaked him out. And at some point, somebody called the labor board and said, "We're not getting days off," and shit like that. So they made us take like Sundays off or something like that. But long story short, we made it. We got the game out. It was out on Christmas, on the shelves by Christmas. And THQ wanted to reward us. They decided to take us to Disneyland. Now, this is probably the beginning of February when we went. And it was on like a Tuesday. It's dumping rain. It's freezing outside. That park was like mostly empty. What? I just fed you, asshole. What do you want? You're interrupting my video here. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear shithead or not. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I went on Pirates of the Caribbean 5 times in a row, twice by myself. The ride would come to an end, and I'd tug on the shirt sleeve of the operator and say, "Hey, mister, this is my favorite ride." And he'd always say, "Mine too, sir." So I found out a lot about Disneyland and some things you can do, some funny haha tricks and stuff. So one thing that I looked everywhere in the house, I can't find this damn button. When you go to the park, once you get in, go straight to the left. Go to the town hall. Tell them it's your birthday. They're not going to check your ID or nothing. Tell them hey, it's my birthday. They'll say, "Oh, cool, let's get you a button." And they'll get you a button to wear. And they'll write with a Sharpie, "Happy birthday," with your name on it. You could put any name on there. I have one somewhere in here. It it says Richard Breath on it, and it's policy for every employee in the park, every cast member. If they see somebody wearing that button, they have to say "Happy birthday" followed by that name. I had people saying "Happy birthday, Dick Breath" the whole time I was there. The next time I go, I'm going to tell them my name is Dick Swellswell. So that's something you could do. It's get lots of laughs, a little funny ha-ha. All right, so that's number one. Moving down the list here, we got started here. Here's something I didn't know. The New Orleans Square train station plays a special message. If you listen closely while waiting to board Disneyland Railroad at New Orleans Square, you'll notice that there's a Morse code coming from the small train house across the tracks. It's a Morse code message that's being relayed. The message being relayed is the first two lines of Walt Disney's opening day speech. And it says, and this is in Morse code, and it reads, "To all who come to Disneyland, welcome. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future." Interesting, right? And I have friends that work there too. I'll get into that. A lot of the stuff I found out from friends that work there. Like for this one right here, number 3. There's over 200 feral cats in the park. You don't ever see them because they come out at night. They patrol the park at night after closing. All the cats are spayed and neutered and released after everybody leaves. That's why there's no mice anywhere in the park. It's like the cleanest park everywhere. It's because of the cats that hunt everything down, and they do have feeding stations for them as well. So that's interesting. Sometimes you might see them if it's like getting close to closing time. You might see a cat wandering around. Number 4. This blew me away. The most expensive thing to buy at Disneyland is a miniature worth roughly $39,000. It's the most expensive souvenir. It's a solid crystal replica of Cinderella's castle set with more than 28,000, so I can't pronounce this, Swarovski crystals. And it can be found at the Crystal Art Store on Main Street. If you got that kind of money to throw around, there you go. Okay, now number 5. There's artists that do draw caricatures of people. You know, you sit down and they'll draw you. They charge you like $25, $30, whatever it is. I tried stumping these guys with all kinds of random scenarios where I wanted them to draw me in. I sat down and the guy said, "Okay, all right. So what would you like?" I said, "Okay, I want the body of a Greek god. I want to be wearing like this loincloth, okay? And I want to be out on the ocean. I want to be holding a trident in one hand and kelp reins in the other. I want to be standing on 2 dolphins, okay? And I want to, and in the background, I just like Kool-Aided through a Spanish galleon and it's exploded and sailors are flying everywhere and shit like that." And the guy's like, "Okay." And I just sat there doing this. You know, like my war face, I guess. And he after like 20 minutes, this is what he came up with. Let me see here. Look at that. How awesome is that? I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, the guy fucking nailed it. Look at the detail. That's back when I had dark hair. You can see the guys flying off the boat. So the next time I go, I'm going to have a button that says, "Happy birthday, Dick Swellswell." And I'm going to go to this guy again, if he's still there. And there's a couple of them. I can't decide which one I want to have him do. I want one where I'm in a fist fight with a bear, on this mountain road, and my shirt's ripped, and I got my muscles, and I'm like about to blast this bear, right? And in the background, there's a broken down school bus of orphans, and they're like cheering me on. That could be a good one. Or I could be fighting the orphans, and the bus could be filled with bears cheering me on. That's something I'm toying with. Another one I definitely want to do is I want him to do one of me and Jesus leaving like victorious in a game of beer pong, where we're high-fiving each other, and in the background you see a very defeated Saddam Hussein and Satan. Like they just lost that beer pong to me and Jesus. So you can't stump those guys. They're good. That's number 5. Here's another thing that a friend of mine, my friend RJ, told me about. A lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people go to Disneyland to scatter remains of loved ones there. They take the ashes and they scatter them throughout the park. Don't do that. You're going to get caught. I want my remains to be scattered around Disneyland, but I don't want to be cremated. Ha ha! Yeah, security is everywhere in that park, and you don't even know that they're there. They don't wear uniforms. A lot of them don't. They're dressed as tourists. Some of them are even posing as families. And most of the time, they're dedicated to catching people trying to do drugs in the park, shit like that, and catching people who flash the cameras on like Splash Mountain and shit like that. So if you're on Splash Mountain, for example, and at the end of the ride, you could get the photo of your group on the ride going down it. If you've ever gotten a message on your ride where it's blurred out and it's saying your photo isn't available, that's because somebody flipped off the camera on the way down, or somebody flashed their cans. But in the event of that not happening, and you could actually buy it, don't spend your money. Take your cell phone out and take a picture of that picture, and you just saved yourself $20. Okay, so that's number 6. Yeah, but getting back to that, don't scatter the loved one's remains in the park. RJ told me, he said that, for example, somebody got caught doing it, and they make a big deal out of arresting you on the spot, right there in front of everybody, because it proves a point. It tells people in the park, wow, I didn't know people were trying to get away with this shit. Obviously, they can't do it. So it sends a message. You don't want to do that there. They make a big deal out of it. And I asked him, I said, well, what do they do with the remains after they arrest everybody, the people doing it? He told me that there's an underground network of tunnels and chambers and rooms and stuff, storage, things like that. And he said a lot of it is stored in these vaults. He said there's like hundreds of coffee cans or whatever of like people's remains and shit like that, where the people don't come back and get them or whatever. I don't know how many. Oh man, I should like try and find out how many remains are down there. I mean, people are going to try and do it and get away with it. So nobody knows for sure how many, scattered ashes are throughout the park. But the ones that have gotten caught, I'd like to know that number. It's a little bit creepy. On the subject of creepy, number 7, Pirates of the Caribbean ride. In the past, all the skeletons used to be real on that ride. They were taken from UCLA's medical center. But now they're all, plastic or whatever. Except one part on the ride, you can't miss it. There's a human skull with real crossbones on the headboard of the big velvet red bed there, with all the gold and stuff around. If you look at that headboard, you see the skull and crossbones. That's real. That's real. Number 8. You want to cut in line and get away with it? You can. If you don't want to wait like 120 minutes for a ride, go around to the side and tell the cast member that you're a single rider. Sometimes they'll need just one person to fill up the ride, and you'll hop on. The downside of that is you're not going to be able to ride with your friends or your family. But yeah, they'll slip you up in the front, and you'll be on the ride in like less than 10 minutes. Most of the rides at the park do that. I know for a fact where you could do the single rider thing, you could do that at the Matterhorn, Splash Mountain, Indiana Jones. Okay, wow, we're moving on. This top 10 thing. Maybe that's a ticket. Maybe I should do a top 10 of hottest chicks in the 80s. At least I yank it to. Number 9. So a lot of stuff you can do in the park. This is the most difficult thing to pull off. I mean, besides the Club 33 thing, that's a waiting list and a lot of money. But you could get in there. Number 9. If this is the toughest achievement you could ever pull off in Disneyland. The Mark Twain Riverboat. Get on the boat. Once you get going, ask one of the... As soon as you start, as soon as you cast off and start going down the river, ask one of the Disney crew members if you can visit the wheelhouse. It's tough to get them to say, yeah, let's go. It's very difficult. But if you could pull it off, they'll lead you to a secret ladder that goes up to the second floor, and they'll introduce you to the captain. At this point, I mean, you're going to be excited to be up there anyway. But at this point, ask the captain if he needs any assistance, any help with the boat. And if he says yes, he'll let you steer it. You get the opportunity to man the wheel of the riverboat. You can blow the whistle and ring the famous Mark Twain bell, and you will receive a certificate saying that you captained the Mark Twain riverboat. I don't have one. I tried to get on that fucking bridge a bunch of times. I couldn't get in there. Okay. We're down to the last one. Wow, holy shit. This one I like the most. It's not a big deal. It's something you can do, and it's good karma, and it's really kind of cool, and most people don't know about this. But the coins that are thrown into the water by It's a Small World, that's collected and donated to a charity that grants kids wishes who have life-threatening illnesses. So if you want to make a difference in someone's life, toss some coins in there. It's going to go to a good cause. And it's good karma, good stuff. And you can have good karma as well if you hit like and hit subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you shit. And hit the notification bell. It helps my channel. And one day, maybe I'll get to 100,000. Who knows? But if you like this video, let me know in the comments down below. If you know something about Disneyland that I don't, which very well could, leave a comment. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. High fives and boners, and I will catch you ladies. Fuck, this horn is loud. And check out my bullshit down below. See ya.